the point of marrying a Prince of England if you're not going to get FaceTime with the head royal in the palace? And King Charles, it's always difficult. Like, I think many people can relate.
Did King Charles make a mistake inviting the Montecito Freak Show into Highgrove House? Because we did have confirmation on Friday that King Charles and Queen Camilla had met with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Megyn Kelly brutally exposes why Meghan left Highgrove with absolutely nothing. Stop what you are doing right now, because the absolute bombshell that just dropped is going to shatter everything you thought you knew about the British royal family, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. If you thought the recent 47-minute meeting at Highgrove was just a simple, awkward family catch-up, you have been lied to. You have been fed a carefully curated, sugar-coated fairy tale by a palace desperate to hide the catastrophic truth. But the truth is ugly, it is brutal, and it is finally out in the open. Megyn Kelly, the woman who has watched Meghan Markle's every move for years, just went on air and absolutely demolished the Sussex narrative. She didn't just spill the tea, she poured boiling acid on the entire Sussex brand. According to Kelly's explosive new report, Meghan didn't just leave Highgrove empty-handed, she was systematically, ruthlessly, and completely shut out. But why? What happened behind those closed gates that has left the Duchess of Sussex in a state of sheer, unadulterated panic? There is a secret reason, a dark, hidden motive that the palace has been guarding like a state secret, and Megyn Kelly just cracked it wide open. It wasn't just about a denied photograph. It wasn't just about royal protocol. It was about money, it was about power, and it was about a devastating betrayal that has left Harry and Meghan staring into the abyss of total financial and social ruin. You are not ready for what was really said in that room. You are not ready for the leaked messages that prove Meghan was practically begging for a lifeline. And you are certainly not ready for the final, jaw-dropping twist that proves this entire trip was a trap from the very beginning. Buckle up, because the royal facade is crumbling, and the fallout is going to be legendary. To truly understand the sheer magnitude of this Highgrove disaster, we need to take a step back and look at the bleeding wound that is the Sussex brand. For years, Harry and Meghan sold us the ultimate American dream. They sold us the image of a liberated, happy couple living in a sun-drenched Montecito mansion, sipping matcha, and building a global empire free from the toxic constraints of the British monarchy. But let me tell you right now, that dream is dead. It is rotting from the inside out, and the stench of desperation is finally reaching the shores of California. Let's talk about the reality of their situation, the reality they have been desperately trying to hide from you. The As Ever lifestyle brand. It is a catastrophic failure. Insiders are reporting that warehouses are overflowing with unsold, expiring inventory. The website traffic has plummeted by a staggering 33% in just 4 months. Netflix. They quietly downgraded that massive, headline-grabbing $100 million deal into a pathetic first-look arrangement. That is polite Hollywood speak for, we are dumping you. Spotify. They completely cut ties, citing a massive productivity failure. Do you understand what that means? It means the Sussexes couldn't even produce the basic content they were paid to make. And now, enter Megyn Kelly. Megyn isn't just some random commentator. She is a former attorney, a seasoned journalist, and someone who actually sat across from Meghan Markle back in 2016. She looked into Meghan's eyes. She studied her body language. She knows how Meghan operates. And when Meghan looked at this recent UK trip, she didn't see a family trying to heal. She saw a failing CEO trying to secure a bailout. Meghan called it the good housekeeping seal of approval. Meghan didn't want a hug from King Charles, she wanted a photo with him. She wanted that single, powerful image of the king holding Archie and Lilibet to prove to the world, and more importantly, to her failing investors, that she still had royal blood pumping through her veins. That photo was supposed to be the magic bullet that saved her brand. But the British royal family is not stupid. They are an institution that has survived for 1,000 years by crushing anyone who tries to use them for personal gain. The palace saw right through the charade. They saw the failing brand, the dropped sponsorships, the Balenciaga snubs, and the desperate pivot to the Invictus Games, which is reportedly £25 million short on funding. The palace knew exactly what Meghan needed, and they made a collective, ruthless decision. She was going to get absolutely nothing. The tension had been building for months. Every time Harry tried to leverage his royal name, the doors slammed in his face. Every time Meghan tried to position herself as a fashion icon, the luxury houses looked the other way. The illusion of their independence was shattering. They were bleeding cash. Their security costs in Montecito are a staggering $3 million a year, and the burn rate is completely unsustainable. They were backed into a corner, and the UK trip was supposed to be their Hail Mary. They flew thousands of miles, brought the children as emotional leverage, and walked up to the gates of Highgrove expecting a red carpet reconciliation. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't possibly have known, was that the palace had already set the trap. The location itself, Highgrove, was the first insult. It wasn't Buckingham Palace. It wasn't Clarence's house. It was Charles's private, rural estate. It was a deliberate, calculated message: you are not here on official business. You are here as a private nuisance. And as Harry's car pulled through those iron gates, the real nightmare was just about to begin. The stage was set for a confrontation that would leave Meghan Markle more exposed, more humiliated, and more empty-handed than she has ever been in her entire life. But the true horror of what happened inside those walls. That's a story of betrayal so deep, it will make your blood run cold. Let's set the scene, because the details of this 47-minute meeting are nothing short of cinematic. It's a crisp afternoon in Gloucestershire. The air is thick with unspoken tension. Harry and Meghan arrive not with a motorcade, not with the fanfare of returning royals, but sneaking in through the back gates, hidden behind the traffic of a random Chanel luncheon. No cameras. No arrival shots. No public acknowledgement. They were smuggled in like secrets the palace was ashamed to be seen with. Meghan is reportedly vibrating with anxiety. She has her list of demands. She has her meticulously planned outfit. She has the children ready to be paraded as the ultimate emotional trump card. She expects to walk into a room, melt King Charles's heart, and walk out with the golden ticket, the photograph. But the moment they step into the drawing room of Highgrove, the atmosphere is ice cold. There is no warmth. There is no easing of tensions. There is no family. And then, the first massive, jaw-dropping twist hits Meghan like a freight train. She looks around the room, and her heart drops into her stomach. Queen Camilla is there. But Camilla isn't just sitting in the corner sipping tea. She is positioned directly in the line of sight. She is the designated witness. Royal insiders are leaking that Camilla was specifically brought in for this exact purpose. Her presence was a psychological masterstroke. It meant that every single word spoken, every promise made, every emotional manipulation attempted by Harry, was being officially recorded by the Crown. They couldn't leak a fake, favorable quote to the press later because Camilla was the human lie detector in the room. Meghan's carefully rehearsed emotional pleas were instantly neutralized. Harry tries to play his card. He brings up the children. He tries to use Archie and Lilibet to break through Charles's stoic facade. For a brief, agonizing moment, it seems to work. Charles's eyes soften. The grandfatherly instinct kicks in. Meghan thinks she has him. She thinks the dam is breaking. But Megyn Kelly's analysis reveals the brutal truth. Charles gave them exactly 47 minutes. Not 48. Not an hour. 47 minutes of polite, sterile, cotton candy conversation. He was warm enough to avoid a public scene, but cold enough to give away absolutely zero institutional ground. And then, the bombshell drops. The reason Meghan left empty-handed wasn't just because Charles refused the photo. It's because the palace hit her with a devastating, unspoken financial reality check. An insider, a former royal aide who spoke to us on the condition of absolute anonymity, leaked a conversation that happened just hours before the Highgrove meeting. Harry, desperate to fund the failing Invictus Games and plug the massive holes in their Montecito budget, had made a secret stop in the south of France. He went to see Sir Elton John. Elton, who had been a vocal supporter, who had even joined their legal battles, was Harry's last hope for a massive cash injection. Do you know what Elton John told him? The source says Harry pitched the family legacy, the global impact, and the urgent need for funding. And Elton John looked him dead in the eye and delivered 4 words that shattered Harry's ego into a million pieces. I am not an ATM. That's right. The man who supposedly loved them, the man who stood by them at the altar, cut them off. And the palace knew. King Charles knew that Harry was financially ruined before he even poured the first cup of tea at Highgrove. Charles didn't need to yell. He didn't need to argue. He just looked at his son with the pitying gaze of a man who knows his child has hit rock bottom, and he simply said, no. No photo. No statement. No bailout. No reconciliation. Meghan sat in that room, realizing in real time that the most powerful man in the kingdom knew they were broke, and he didn't care. The emotional devastation in that room was palpable. Meghan reportedly had to physically restrain herself from walking out. But she couldn't. Because walking out meant admitting defeat. So she sat there, smiling a fake, tight-lipped smile, while her entire empire burned to the ground around her. But if you thought a denied photo and a rejected loan was the end of the nightmare, you are horribly, terribly wrong. The real apocalypse was still 48 hours away. Just when you think the dust is settling on the Highgrove humiliation, the universe delivers a second, apocalyptic twist that changes the entire narrative. If the Highgrove meeting was a slap in the face, what happened immediately after was a full-blown execution. We need to talk about the legal and financial bloodbath that was waiting for them the second they landed back on American soil. Remember that massive, multi-year, multi-million-pound privacy lawsuit Harry filed against Associated Newspapers? The one he claimed would expose the dark, illegal underbelly of the British tabloids. The one he bet his entire reputation on. It didn't just fail. It was annihilated. On July 8th, just 2 days after the Highgrove disaster, the verdict dropped. 400 pages of legal documents. 97 claims. And the judge didn't just dismiss them, he obliterated them. The judge's conclusion was brutal, stating in plain, unambiguous English that the evidence was not credible, and that there were legitimate, lawful sources for the information. Do you understand the magnitude of this? Harry didn't just lose the case, he lost his moral high ground. He spent years accusing the press of illegal hacking, and the court essentially said, "We don't believe you." But the legal loss is just the tip of the iceberg. The financial fallout is a nuclear bomb. The opposing sides' legal costs are estimated between £34 million and £50 million. And here is the kicker, the detail that has Harry and Meghan pacing the floors of Montecito in sheer terror, because the judge noted that the claims should never have reached court. Their legal insurance providers are using this as a loophole to walk away. That means Harry could be personally on the hook for tens of millions of pounds. Megyn Kelly went absolutely ballistic on her show when these details leaked. She pointed out the timeline. Court loss on Tuesday. Highgrove rejection on Thursday. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a coordinated strike. The palace knew about the legal defeat. They knew Harry was facing financial ruin. They knew he was desperate. And they used that desperation to completely neutralize him. They let him come to Highgrove, let him think he had a chance, and then crushed him with the knowledge that he had no leverage left. But wait, it gets so much worse. As if a £50 million debt and a destroyed reputation weren't enough, a new, terrifying shadow has fallen over the Sussexes. It's called the Removal of Titles Bill. Introduced by MP Rachel Markle, this piece of legislation is quietly moving through Parliament. It states that any member of the royal family not actively carrying out royal duties can have their titles stripped. For years, people said stripping Harry and Meghan of their titles was constitutionally impossible. But then, Charles took action against his own brother, Prince Andrew. The precedent is set. The dam has broken. Insiders are now leaking that the palace is actively reviewing this bill in the context of Harry and Meghan. If this bill passes, or if Charles decides to use his royal prerogative to strip their titles, the Sussex brand doesn't just take a hit. It ceases to exist. Every single product, every podcast, every documentary, every brand deal relies entirely on the word royal. Without the title, they are just two celebrities from California. And the public is already turning. We have obtained exclusive, leaked iMessages from a source inside the Montecito inner circle. The panic is absolute. One message from a senior aide reads, "The legal fees are wiping out the liquid assets. If the titles go, Netflix will invoke the morality clause and void the rest of the contract. We are looking at bankruptcy within 18 months." Another message, allegedly from Meghan herself, reads, "He looked right through me. Charles knew we had nothing. We played our last card and it was a joker. What do we do now? The escalation is relentless. The legal system is bankrupting them. The Parliament is threatening to strip their identity. The palace has shut the door. And the public? The public is watching the car crash in high definition. But the most shocking part of this entire ordeal isn't what the palace did to them. It's what the public is doing to them right now. The digital world is exploding, and the backlash is unlike anything we have ever seen. If you want to see what a total, unmitigated digital bloodbath looks like, just open Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram right now. The public reaction to Megyn Kelly's brutal breakdown and the leaked details of the Highgrove disaster has gone from critical to absolutely feral. The internet has smelled blood in the water, and they are tearing the Sussexes apart in real time. Let's look at the social media meltdown. The hashtag Meghan empty-handed is trending globally, racking up millions of impressions in less than 24 hours. But it's not just trolls, it's mainstream commentators, former royal staff, and even former fans who feel deeply, profoundly betrayed. Take a look at this viral tweet from @RoyalWatcher99, which has over 150,000 likes. Megyn Kelly just exposed the ultimate grift. Meghan didn't want a family reunion, she wanted a marketing campaign. King Charles saw right through the scam and gave her exactly 47 minutes of nothing. Absolute cinema. Then there's the financial angle that the internet is obsessing over. @Sussex Squasher posted a thread that has been shared over 50,000 times. Let's get the math right. They owe £50 million in legal fees. Their security costs $3 million a year. Netflix downgraded them. Spotify dropped them. As Ever is sitting in a warehouse rotting. They are flying private to the UK to beg for a photo to sell expired jam. The American dream is officially a Montecito nightmare. But it's not just the internet. The industry is turning its back on them in a way that is both swift and ruthless. We are getting reports from Hollywood insiders that A-list celebrities are actively avoiding Harry and Meghan. The toxicity of the Sussex brand has become a liability. One major studio executive, speaking on condition of anonymity, told us, "Nobody wants to touch them right now." The Highgrove leak proved they have no royal backing, and the court loss proved they are litigious losers. They are radioactive. Even their supposed allies are distancing themselves. Remember the outpouring of support from Oprah? Well, Oprah's team has reportedly instructed her staff to limit any public mentions of Meghan in the coming months. The Oprah effect is being carefully managed to avoid collateral damage. And what about Piers Morgan? Piers is having a field day. On his show, Piers Morgan Uncensored, he played Megyn Kelly's clip on a loop, declaring it the most important 10 minutes of royal television in a decade. He brought on former royal butlers who corroborated Meghan's claims about Camilla's presence in the room, calling it a masterclass in royal containment. The division in the public is stark, but the momentum has violently shifted. The Sussex squad is on the defensive, posting desperate, poorly edited TikToks trying to spin the 47-minute meeting as a private family moment. But the counter-narrative is too strong. The leaks are too damaging. The financial realities are too glaring. And then, the ultimate insult came from the fashion world. Just days after the Highgrove disaster, Balenciaga announced their new list of 11 global ambassadors. Meghan had spent the last year attending their shows, wearing their clothes, and positioning herself as the face of their new campaign. Her name wasn't just missing from the list, she wasn't even invited to the after-party. The industry has spoken. She is out. The public isn't just watching a celebrity fail, they are watching a master manipulator get outmaneuvered by the oldest, smartest institution in the world. The schadenfreude is palpable. People are buying up Megyn Kelly's old interviews, analyzing Meghan's micro-expressions, and realizing that every tear, every sigh, and every victim narrative was a calculated performance. And now, the curtain has fallen. The audience has seen the strings. And the backlash is only going to get more vicious. But as the world laughs and the brand crumbles, there is one final, earth-shattering twist waiting in the shadows. A secret that doesn't just ruin Meghan's brand, but threatens to completely rewrite the history of why they left the royal family in the first place. You thought the financial ruin was the bottom. You thought the legal defeat was the end. You thought the 47 minutes of ice-cold rejection at Highgrove was the final nail in the coffin. Brace yourself, because what we are about to reveal is the kind of secret that could trigger a constitutional crisis. This is the twist that Megyn Kelly only hinted at, the detail that the palace is praying stays buried, and the revelation that proves Harry and Meghan are not just failing. They are trapped in a game they never knew they were playing. Remember the Megxit agreement. The carefully negotiated exit deal that was supposed to give them financial independence and a new life in America. For years, Harry and Meghan have claimed they were pushed out, that the institution was racist, and that they had no choice but to flee to save their family. But a former senior royal lawyer, who was present during the drafting of the Sandringham Summit Agreement, has just come forward with a shocking revelation about a hidden, classified clause in that very document. It's being called the Ghost Clause. According to this explosive leak, the original agreement contained a highly specific, legally binding stipulation regarding the use of the royal brand and the financial structure of their new entity. The clause stated that if the Sussexes ever engaged in commercial ventures that brought the institution into disrepute, or failed to meet the financial viability standards set by the Crown retained the right to not only strip their remaining financial stipends, but to activate a clawback provision. What does that mean? It means that if the palace can prove that the Sussexes' business ventures, Netflix, Spotify, as ever, the memoir, are failing, or if they can prove that the narrative they sold was fundamentally fraudulent, the Crown can legally demand the return of the millions of pounds spent on their security and the renovation of Frogmore Cottage. But here is the absolute, mind-blowing kicker. The leak reveals that King Charles didn't just reject Meghan at Highgrove out of spite. He rejected her because activating the Ghost Clause requires a formal, documented refusal of royal reconciliation. By denying her the photo, by keeping the meeting at 47 minutes, by ensuring there was no public statement of healing, Charles has legally satisfied the conditions of the Ghost Clause. He didn't just shut the door on Meghan, he legally locked it and swallowed the key. The palace isn't just ignoring them, they are actively building a legal case to bankrupt them and claw back the millions. The Highgrove meeting wasn't a family visit. It was a legal maneuver. It was the final piece of evidence needed to prove that the Sussexes were given every opportunity to reconcile, that they refused to play by the rules, and that their commercial failures are a direct result of their own actions, thereby triggering the financial clawback. Harry and Meghan flew to the UK thinking they were going to secure their future. In reality, they walked directly into a legal trap that could see them owing the British taxpayer tens of millions of pounds. The £50 million legal debt. That's nothing compared to what the Crown could demand. And the most terrifying part. Meghan doesn't even know it yet. Or if she does, she is completely paralyzed. The source claims that when Meghan realized the meeting was yielding nothing, she wasn't just disappointed, she was terrified. Because her legal team had warned her about the ghost clause, and she realized in that room that Charles had just checkmated her. The drama isn't over. It has just entered its most dangerous, explosive phase. The financial clock is ticking. The legal trap is set. And the Crown is waiting for the perfect moment to spring it. Will Harry and Meghan declare bankruptcy? Will they try to flee the country? Or will they launch one final, desperate, scorched earth attack on the monarchy before the ghost clause destroys them completely? The institution has survived for 1,000 years by outweighting its enemies. And it looks like they are about to outweight Harry and Meghan, too. But when the trap finally springs, the shockwaves will be felt around the entire globe. You do not want to miss the fallout. Listen to me, if your jaw isn't on the floor right now, I don't know what will do it. This is the most explosive, deeply researched, and absolutely shocking royal update you will see all year. The illusion is shattered. The brand is dead. And the ghost clause is about to change everything. I need to hear from you right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think King Charles is a genius for setting this legal trap, or is he being unnecessarily cruel to his own son and grandchildren? Do you think Meghan knew about the ghost clause before she walked into Highgrove? And most importantly, how long do you think it will be before the financial reality forces Harry and Meghan to completely disappear from the public eye? Let's get a massive debate going in the comments. I read every single one, and the best insights might just be featured in our next video. If this breakdown blew your mind, do not keep it to yourself. Smash that like button right now. It tells the algorithm that we are bringing you the truth they don't want you to see. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join the fastest growing community of royal truth seekers on the internet. The Invictus Games are looming. The titles bill is moving through Parliament. And the ghost clause is ticking like a time bomb. When the next piece of this puzzle drops, you need to be here first. We will be tracking every leak, every financial report, and every royal move. You do not want to be the last to know. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and I will see you in the next video. The royal empire is falling, and we have the best seats in the house. Stay tuned, stay shocked, and stay